come and share a dream that I had on October 15th. It's two parts to it. The first part, dreamt that I was outside. It seemed like it could have been a beach area, and I rushed inside of a house with some people that were in there, and I don't remember who anyone was. There was like this massive wave of water coming, but it was coming out of the wall within the house. So it was very strange, but somehow it made sense. I saw it coming out of the wall, and I started rushing away. So then I got to some sort of a crossroads area with lots of sand, and it was kind of like an in-between tunnel area. So there was lots of sand, and it felt kind of like it was a tunnel, and there were like multiple ones with kind of like a crossroads shape. And I was there, and it was completely empty except for one person. It felt like it was like an underground tunnel type train thing, but it was beachy, sandy, and it was light. I felt like maybe I was in Israel. I had that feeling, and there was a man there shoveling or just working on digging a trench. And it felt like maybe he was helping to avoid the flooding type incident that I had experienced earlier in the house. So that was just a very quick scene. Then in the next scene, I am somewhere else, and it was a little bit darker, and there was a group of people that I was facing, but they were more to the right of me. So we weren't in the same group, but there was a group to the right of me, and I was facing them. And all of a sudden, a song came to mind, and I started like singing some of the lyrics, just like if a song pops in your head and you kind of sing very softly, nothing loud or drawing attention to myself. And so this rapper person came over. He was part of that group, and it was this guy, T.I. And, I haven't really followed anything that really happened to him. An ex-boyfriend of mine from like 15 years ago used to really listen to him and really like him. So that's how I know who he is. But I didn't really follow his songs really, and, I'm not really somebody that really knows the lyrics of rap songs. I'll just know kind of like the chorus from when I used to listen to it. So he comes over, and he said in the dream, oh, he was kind of excited or happy. He said something like, oh, you're singing my song, and, being nice, making conversation with me. And I actually just kind of looked at him, and I felt embarrassed and somehow like a little bit guilty as well, because I felt like, oh, this is a Southern rap song that I was singing, and my thought process was that it wasn't a good song to be singing because, they have a lot of cursing and just bad things, bad imagery. So that's what was going on in my head when he came over. And also I had a very clear thought of the word idol when I was looking at him, and I was feeling guilty about the song. The predominant thought also after that was idol. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of my family members, mostly like kids, teenagers, came over and interrupted, and I hugged and kissed them and kind of went off to the side with them. And when I was waking up from the dream, had this song in my head, a Southern rap song, which apparently is the one that I was singing in the dream. And I just remember the beat because it's a very catchy beat. And it was this song that I haven't thought about, since I, was dating that guy that used to listen to this kind of music. And it's called Tipping on 4/4s. I actually thought that it was sipping on something, sipping on whatever, but it's a very catchy beat. But, I don't recommend anybody goes to see what this is, but it's, the main thing is tipping on 4/4s, I guess, are like, it's like driving around in your car and showing off, I guess. 4 being the number of wheels, and I guess the Vogues it's like a type of wheel or something like that. But it's, it's very naughty lyrics, which is probably why I felt bad in the dream about it. So I was like, what a strange dream to have, I haven't thought about this guy's career or anything. So, and then what's the deal with this idol thing? So I started Googling more about T.I. So, the song itself is Tipping, and he doesn't actually sing this song, it's other people, but it's, it's the Southern rap genre. So maybe he just came and it was a song that he liked, I don't know. But the key word there is tipping. And then actually, when I Googled him, his name actually is Tip. I never knew this before until I researched it. I always knew him as T.I., but he used to be called Tip, and he ended up giving up his old, name out of respect for some other guy in his group that, when he joined a certain label or something like that. But now he kind of goes back to, if you look at his YouTube channel, he goes by T.I. and Tip as well. So, okay, I was like, okay, so here's some emphasis on tipping, and his name is Tip. What's going on here? Also, I haven't been keeping up with anything for over a decade about him. He just released his new album like the day after. I had this dream in the morning of October 15th, so I looked him up. I found his YouTube, and he started releasing songs like around at that time. So you see here, one of his new songs, the official video was put out on YouTube that exact day, and I woke up from this dream that morning. And the next day, on the 16th, was when he released the entire album. And also, isn't it interesting that the name of the album itself is the Libra, and it's about scales. I guess he's a Libra, supposedly, if you believe that astrology is true, which is not. So that is so weird, right? And that's the concept of the scales and tipping. So definitely being drawn to tipping there, even with the album. And so if we take a look at, what is with the scales, if something tips the balance or tips the scales, it is a thing that causes a particular situation to happen or a particular decision to be made when other situations or decisions are possible. So tipping the scales means to change the fortunes either positively or negatively. If you look at tipping point, also, it's the point at which a series of small changes or incidents become significant enough to cause a larger, more important change. In sociology, this one was really interesting. A tipping point is a point in time when the group or many group members rapidly and dramatically changes its behavior by widely adopting a previously rare practice. So it's just really going in one direction, having favor in one direction. So I thought that was really interesting how it just kept leading to tip. And just the timing that this was released when I had no concept of what was going on with this person's life. And then I actually tried to make this video a couple days ago, but my computer sound wasn't working, so I had to redo it today. So I received a confirmation just this morning from this person that posts in some prophetic circles. I've never heard of this person before, Wendy Alec, but she got a word on September 23rd of this year, and it's about tipping points. So this is what the word says. This is not that. The Father had a message this morning. The tipping point. The bowls are full. I have issued a divine stay. I have issued a heavenly writ in my courts of justice and against the trading floors of the enemy. The cries and the incessant intercession of my sons and daughters have been collected by my angelic host into the mighty bowls of the intercession of my saints, and I have reached a tipping point on my scales of justice and judgment on my altar. I am tipping the bowls. I am tipping the bowls. I have issued a divine stay. Daddy, Abba, what is going on? It's like we're all living in a surreal movie. I said, Daddy, what do you want me to say? Our wonderful Father said, Beloved daughter, tell my beloveds firstly that this is not that. This is not that. This is not the tribulation. This is not the time of the Antichrist, but it is the precursor. Tell my beloveds, alert my sons and daughters that my church have now entered the outskirts, the tremblings of the end of the age. The enemy has endeavored to preempt my divine timeline, but he will fail, as he has failed so many times before. His last all-out attempt was in the times of Hitler, but I only circumvented it through the cries and prayers of my saints. The enemy's plans to destroy my people through the Holocaust were turned on their head, and the nation of Israel was born in a day. The cries and the incessant intercession of my sons and daughters have reached a tipping point on my scales of justice and judgment on my altar. They are being poured out at this very moment as judgment against the enemy, and as judgment on the enemy's world systems. I have issued a heavenly writ in my courts of justice and against the trading floors of the enemy. I have issued a divine stay from the destruction the enemy has intended, against a preemptive strike to destroy, kill, and usher in the end of the age. So do not fear, beloved, do not fear. The situation is not going to pan out as the enemy's victory. But I tell you that even as the Israelites stood at the Red Sea, the waters will part. Know this, that I am your God, I am your mighty God, I am your omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, mighty, mighty God. So put your hand in mine this day. Know that my protection is yours. Plead my son's powerful blood over your households and watch. Watch and pray expectantly, 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 beloved, for the enemy to be routed. And as the tipping point occurs, inch by inch, foot by foot, yard by yard, mile by mile, fear will be routed. And my peace will start to rain down from heavenly portals as my justice invades the earth. And my peace will reign like a divine mantle. Hold on, hold on, hold on. For surely you will see my hand in this coming hour. For by next spring, beloved, the earth will be swept with the renewal and health of my divine justice and my divine mantle. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You are mine. So I think that was really interesting how just, justice, the scales and them tipping and being at a tipping point, it's like that's definitely being flagged in the symbolism in the dream and this confirming word that I just received. The final piece that I wanted to point out was this thought. I thought, when I was looking at this guy, I had this clear thought, of Idol. He actually was in one of the judges for this basically American Idol show, but for rappers. And it's just been renewed for a second season. I guess it started last year. And of course, Cardi B is one of the other rappers, and we know the kind of music she's been putting out is just awful. Nothing but profanity and just sexual immorality. I actually went and saw the preview on Netflix for the show, and it was so difficult to watch. It's just laced with profanity. And they encourage people to do rap battles against each other, which is basically how creative can you be and how mean can you be in putting other people down. So it's just really awful, which makes sense that, and I had no idea. So it's just interesting, what the kids are being exposed to, what kind of idolatry this is. And, I think God is just saying that he's had enough with that kind of stuff. And I really hope that, everything's being tipped, like the word said, in our direction and our heavenly justice, and that we can tip the scales in the other direction against, all these attacks of the enemy.